Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 55 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. I am your host for this episode, and joining me is Brandon.
Load. Aim. Shoot!
And I have Dave with me as well.
How long do we fight these jackals? Let's hunt down the lion.
Beautiful. Love it. If you recognize these quotes, I'd be impressed.
Yeah.
We did a little something different this week. Normally, we don't really tackle like super current things. I feel like this is probably one of the newer things that we've done on the show before. We've done Legend of Vox Machina, which was just came out when we saw it, Loki, but this is probably the newest movie that we've ever done so far, and it's also an Indian film. So that's a first as well.
Nomads went to India.
First Indian film.
We've done,
that's right.
Japanese, we've done animes, we've done Parasite, Korean. So now we're taking a tour of India.
That's right. The Nomads travel all over the land.
I'll say right now, I haven't really seen an Indian flick before.
No,
neither have I.
It's a first all the way around. Which is why
we watched RRR. Triple R.
Is it RRR or is it triple R? I call it triple R.
I feel like triple R is easier to say. It is Rise, Roar, Revolt.
In English, though. It's got different meanings in different languages, which was kind of
highly localized.
That's true. I'm not even going to attempt to say the actual name of it because I don't want to butcher it. But Rise, Roar, Revolt is the English translation of triple R. And yeah. This movie was released in 2022, March 2022. It was directed by... everyone has to bear with us when we try to pronounce these names.
Don't be upset with us.
We're dumb Americans, so I apologize to any of our Indian listeners. We love you, and we hope we don't scare you away with this episode. But it was directed by S.S. Rajamouli.
Nice roll.
Yeah.
Rajamouli. Yeah, you got to roll those.
Nice.
You got to roll those R's there. And this was apparently the most expensive Indian film ever made at its time of release.
First or second? I thought it was second.
It says it is the most, according to Wikipedia, which is all facts all the time. It's the most expensive Indian film, and it's also set some box office records for Indian film, including the second highest grossing film in India and the third highest grossing Indian film. I don't know the distinction between those. I guess the second highest grossing film released in India, and then the third highest grossing Indian made film.
Okay.
RRR was the distinction there.
Wikipedia says it's the second most expensive Indian film.
Okay.
66 million US.
Wikipedia, you got to update your facts.
I don't know what 2.0 is, but that looks like it was the most.
Yeah. So This is a big movie, an epic movie. It's over 3 hours long.
We all watched this off of Netflix. Netflix. Correct?
This was just released on Netflix.
It had the word Hindu underneath.
It was Hindi. Hindi is the language, and that's the translation of this film. It was actually dubbed in Hindi, but the original film is a Telugu language film, which is a different language, which I don't know why Netflix decided to release the dubbed version.
Which is, it's dumb.
It was annoying because, we don't get the original voice actor, the original voices of the actors in the film. We get the dubbed over versions.
We don't understand it anyway, so what's the difference to us?
Yeah, and you could tell that I hate when especially in live action, when the words don't match up with the mouths, It's fine in anime just because it's animated. You can make the words match up, but the mouth motions in live action, when the words don't match up, it drives me nuts. But I feel like after a while I got used to it, especially
after
since
3
this movie
hours
was
you got
so
used
long.
to it.
Yeah, definitely. But before we get too far into it, do a little social section here.
Yeah. Would you just ask people if they've seen it or if they have thoughts or they have plans to see
I was just saying, saying we checked out at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter. Checked out RRR. If you've seen it, leave your thoughts, and if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. And it's cool because the official RRR Movie Twitter account replied to us on this tweet. And they said thanks for recommending Smiley Face.
That's absolutely.
And I think that kind of made this tweet blow up. I think this is our most liked tweet. Currently it's at 225 likes, which is a big deal for us.
Oh, for our little Twitter account.
Smiley Faces is knows no bounds. The emojis are a multinational language.
Oh yeah. Well, we got a couple comments here. Gunner also said, "This is cinema, GOAT film, greatest of all time."
Ooh.
And Krishna said, "One of the greatest movies of all time."
Wow.
Okay. That's a big fan.
So
there.
Some high praise for this movie. I'm assuming a lot of our normal listeners haven't seen this one yet, but I hope that we can convince you to at least check it out, even if you don't watch the entire thing. But I think it's definitely
worth it. The payoff is worth it.
Yeah. And Eric found this movie. Showed us the trailer, and we're like, okay, let's do it, because I was joking around, no disrespect, but just joking around, like, let's do a Bollywood movie, just because I know they're singing.
We've been talking about it,
joking about that for a little bit now,
and this actually looked really good to us Western film fanatics, like where you kind of want a specific style, and I think this was probably heavily influenced by Western culture, Western Hollywood, a mix of like Matrix. Indian culture. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of slow-mo, Matrixy style. Like, then that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to watch. Like, we made the joke about watching a Bollywood, just because like some of the shit they do in there is just so bonkers, off the wall. Like, but they like everybody in the movie like seems to treat it like normal. Like, I'm gonna throw a lasso around the moon and pull it down for my lady, and like drive a car up to the moon.
It's fantastical for sure.
Fantastic. That's a very good word for it. And that's why, I don't know, I thought this one had a kind of a mixture of everything, which made it very interesting.
Well, I was going to say that Eric wanted to, like he said, he found this, he put it in front of us, we watched it, and then we don't even know how we feel. We haven't gotten to that part, so we're going to save that for the next part. But you wanted us to be careful, at least not to spoil. So we'll probably just go into, after our break, the kind of like the making of what it is. And then we'll kind of go into a spoiler section. So
yeah, I wanted to treat this as more of like a traditional review where we have our general impressions first. Yeah, explain what it is, and then maybe like a 10-15 minute spoiler-free discussion, and then we'll get into the heavy spoilers.
You haven't seen anything like this.
We'll give you a spoiler warning.
You haven't seen anything like this. You gotta
you shouldn't. If you haven't watched this movie when you're listening to this podcast, you can listen to our spoiler-free discussion, but then stop it, watch it, and then come back and listen to the rest.
Yeah, please do.
You're in for a treat. You're in for a ride. But we'll take our first break right now, and then after the break, we'll come back and talk about RRR. And we are back to talk about RRR. We're going to give start off with our spoiler-free, just general impressions here in the beginning, and kind of lay the land for what this movie is about, since it's such a huge movie. And then we'll give you a spoiler warning after we're done with that. And then we'll get into all the good spoilery details that we want to talk about. So let's start it off. Where do we want to start here?
Where to start?
I think it's reaction time. I think
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Let's give our raw initial reactions.
Like this is I don't know exactly how you guys feel, but I'll just say right off the bat, with no number in my head because I don't know how.
No,
I don't know what the
yeah.
basis off of it. It's so different. But I'm glad I watched it. I think it's very fun. I think it is worth the watch. I think I have never seen anything like this, but it's familiar. But I had a blast. It was, I don't know. It's like I laughed at things that I probably shouldn't have, and there's some things that I didn't like. But it wasn't like I didn't like it. Like I didn't like it. It was just, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, but whatever.
Like things that are culturally different. Like something that might be serious or something like that. Like, no example. Sorry.
To me,
no spoilers.
It felt like. Sorry. Listen, to me, it felt like this movie was fully self-aware of what it was. Like, it knows it's ridiculous, over-the-top, crazy action. But there is also some, like, heartfelt moments in there as well,
Well, overall message, too, of just, like, what they went through with the British Empire just occupying their land and how they treated them. Like, I get it. Like, that, like, I don't think anybody could be proud of that kind of history and that treatment to those people. And I sympathize with them instantly. They got you, like, they get you grounded with the opening scene to this movie. Like it really does kind of set the pace. There's just some other things that just happen that are like, to Western, a little out of place, but because
they're silly. There's some silly stuff.
It's all over.
It's like Inglorious. Like I paralleled it with like Inglorious Bastards, where like it's vaguely set in history, but it's like the events of the story have changed, but at the same time, it's just kind of batshit crazy. Where like,
it's that mixed with like Rambo, mixed with
a
superhero movie, mixed with a musical. Yeah, it's got everything. It so literally has everything.
I actually wrote that down. Like I left out the superhero movie because I guess these guys are pretty superhero.
They're like mini.
They're
Captain
basically
Americas.
superheroes. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Captain
they're just.
Yeah. I'll just say. I fucking love this movie. I had a great time. Like
it's fun.
It was really fun. Like I unironically really really like this movie. And like I said before, I think it knows that it's self-aware, it's over the top, and that's what I liked about it, But it also did have those heartfelt moments. I was saying a couple weeks ago with Gladiator, like Gladiator I thought was such an amazing movie because it had a little bit of everything. It had the action, it had like the love story, the historical aspect of it, all that stuff. This has all that too, but like cranked up to 11, like, and they ripped the fucking knob off. Like it's crazy. It's over the top. I thought every second of it was great.
And it's shot well, and the music is good.
The music is fucking great.
Oh yeah,
like
music is great.
I don't dig on Indian music, and like a lot of the Indian lyrics are like very metaphorical and stuff like that, but. Which I think is like,
and a lot of them are literal as well.
Yeah, it is. But like,
especially when they're explaining what's happening through a song, which I thought that was kind of cool, but it was interesting. Like you said, it's a different way
like a touch of
filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like
300 meets like Broadway meets The Matrix.
It's very typical for Indian cinema to have these big, especially Bollywood, to have these big, huge musical dance numbers. Like people expect it. I was reading. I don't really know a ton about Bollywood, but I was reading up a little bit on it, and I know this like technically isn't classic Bollywood. I don't want to get into the semantics of that, but like Bollywood generally has these huge musical dance numbers, and people expect that, and they go to it for that. So this movie definitely had a little bit of that in there. I feel like they had to throw that in there a little bit. So I enjoyed it for what it was,
Yeah.
I was along for the ride the whole time.
Like, just relax and just watch, because visually it's great to look at. And it's fun, and it's all over the place. And you
like
guarantee you haven't seen anything like this, at least lately.
It's like crazy over the top action. The story, there is a story, but you don't have to, I feel like you don't have to super pay attention to it. There's only a couple elements that you really need to know about. Yeah. It's not super complex.
It's pretty big. Like, it's occupying country, people fighting for their freedom, two dudes from different area, or like, with different, what's the word? They're
we gotta
attacking it
be
from
careful
different
with this.
angles.
You're right. Yeah, you gotta be careful with this because that you're almost giving away a big plot
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
But there are two main characters to this
Mhm.
story across 3 hours. And Eric, you kind of said you made this point earlier where it's kind of broken up in 3 acts.
It's a pretty clear distinction that there's
Yeah.
like these 3 acts, which we'll get into them more. But I liked that it was broken up that way.
This is a good time to like probably pause and start up the
Yeah.
next day. You know,
It's
You
such
can
a
feel the
long
tone
movie
shift.
that you can kind of break it up into chunks, and it's almost like it's 3 separate like episodes of a TV show or something. You know, you
Yeah.
could break it up that way. So the break between each act was very distinct, which I appreciated because it's like I know, okay, that's the end of the first act, and like you could feel the transition and the turning point in the story where it kind of transitions to there's big things that happen, and like I said,
Well, I was gonna say they
we'll
have
get
these big. They have title screens within the movie in the first
Mhm.
half or 2/3 of
Dude.
the movie. They just have them like water.
The official
you know?
the official title screen wasn't until I clocked it. It was 40 minutes in. It didn't say RRR on the screen until 40 minutes into the movie.
You had to meet the two characters.
Mm-hmm. You had to
Yeah.
give the backstory of everything that was happening, and then once
I like to say that the word
everything
epic
culminated.
defines everything that this movie is doing. Like
Oh,
even
yeah.
the title, you want that, and it's gonna be in the most epic way, but you gotta wait, bitch. This is 40 minutes into it. Everything is beyond epic. The music, the visuals, the way people move, the way they do anything, the way they fight. Everything in this movie is just over the top. Like I said, just cranked to 11. It's out of control.
But yeah, I don't know if it was like cultural things. I don't know. We don't really watch Indian movies, but like even little things like the crazy ass disclaimers in the beginning, which is like the beginning of an Assassin's Creed game, or like, don't get upset about us for messing with history. No animals were harmed, no fish were harmed, no bears were harmed, no deer were harmed. Like they got into it there, and then like they put the credits at the beginning of the movie too, which was
I did notice
kind
that
of
as well.
interesting too. Which I don't know if it's just this movie or if it's part of something that's in their films or something. But I thought that was kind of interesting too, where that just little cultural differences between what we expect in a American blockbuster film or what you get here. So
Well, I feel like Western moviegoers are so impatient; they just want to get right into
exactly.
the movie. They don't want to see all these credits and all this bullshit in the beginning.
I
They're
don't
like,
want to
Get
wait.
me into the movie. Yeah,
Which is like how things used to be, right? Because it used to be, you would see who's in the movie. The
you
credit
see this long credit sequence. I always think of The Shining with like that long
The
panning
drive
shot
Yeah.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
drive with the credits and the music, and yeah, I feel like that's kind of gone by the wayside in recent years. But yeah, they had an epic song just started off in the beginning, showing all the credits, kind of getting you pumped up a little bit. Yeah,
It's a lot of pumping.
This was a fun one.
For sure.
A lot of pumping.
Well, let's give a couple things though. I don't know. I don't want to give it. We could probably get into the spoiler territory soon, but there are some things that are not perfect in this movie, probably that might throw you off. But I encourage you to continue. A couple of the things are some of the acting from some of the characters is pretty weak. It's not the two main characters. I think the two main characters are great. I think the overall, a lot of the people that you meet are good, but I don't know.
The only
what it
other
was, but
thing
the British,
I think
the British people were kind of
They're
I
just
think
dicks,
part of
though.
that is due to the dub as well,
right.
Because I think the English voices were also dubbed over, to keep it consistent. I'm like 99% sure that those weren't the original English voices as well, because it threw me off a little bit because the voices just didn't seem to match up with any of the characters. So I'm wondering if everything was dubbed over, and I feel like that hurt this version of it a little bit. I would like to see the original.
I watched it with
Toluca
headphones.
version.
I didn't mind it. I got used to it.
I'm curious with
It's weird,
with the overdubs though. I feel like you miss out on a lot of like the environmental sounds and like shit like that.
What do you do?
Like
Totally
cars
do.
beeping and driving by,
Yeah.
like ambient noise and stuff like that. But
Being out of
Well, the
breath
voices-
instead of standing still and talking every time.
Yeah,
like,
You
got
could
a
tell the
silent
voices
audio
didn't
track.
sound like the voices sounded like they were recorded in a recording booth. It was like
Mhm.
They're
they were
good.
doing a
like
voice for a TV show
Yeah.
or something, or or like an animated TV show, and then they just dubbed over these real people. So yeah, I think that this version hurt it a little bit. I do want to like check out some scenes.
Get your shit straight, Netflix.
With the original cast. Yeah, I don't know why they.
If you're gonna show it in America, just show it with the voice that lines up with the characters, and just give it subtitles. Like it would have been exactly the same to us because we don't understand anything they're saying anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so a couple other things that I noticed that were jarring in the beginning. I'm just trying to cover that because we want to encourage people to finish this journey. But so one of the actresses, she is actually from. She's actually from Indiana Jones and the Temple of and the Last Crusade. She plays Elsa. She's the blonde.
This is Alison Doody.
Yeah, who played?
Is she the Nazi chick?
Yeah, dude, that's her. So that's her today, though. So that was her, and I made a note, and I said, I said, "Yo, they didn't have nose jobs and facelifts back then." So this movie takes place in occupied, India,
1920s.
Yeah. And like you said, how they had the disclaimer about hey, like no disrespect to the history, but these two guys are based off of real people who did end up dying, like in real life, like they died for what they were doing, but they were basically revolting against the British, and we don't know their history that well, so I don't know who they really were. I had to do some research when I was watching this movie, but they were based on real people. But I just made that comment, like, man, this lady's nose is, and like she just has that cat look because of too much facelifts and
right.
It's just like, I know you want like an American actress or English speaking actress or white actress in your movie to play this role, but I don't. It's just that's distracting me. So I don't know, but she's not in the movie enough to make it be a big deal.
Right. The only other, I mean, it's not even really a gripe, more just something I noticed is just some of the CGI, especially on the animals, wasn't incredible by any means. But
it was fine, but
it was fine. It did the job. But some of those shots of like, close-up shots of like the tiger or the wolf and the tiger fighting, you could just tell they were CGI, whatever. It didn't take too much away from the movie, but
arrows zinging through the air or stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's so fantastical. I let so much slide.
There's so much shit going on all the time where there's just like so much CG that you probably don't even realize like is going on.
Right.
Too much. Yeah. A lot of shit going on. Yep. Well, is there anything else we want to say before we give the spoiler warning here?
I'm good.
No, just
ready to talk about
there's some
things.
Dancing, but there's punching, there's shooting, there's killing, there's
action, there's romance, there's all kinds. Like this movie has literally everything you could think of thrown together. Oh my god, the dance off.
Hold on, save it because I want to talk about that too.
Listen,
so you just wait, mister.
Right here, this is the spoiler warning. I think we're blocking off this section. This is where we start the spoilers. You've been warned. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it and come back. Let's talk spoilers.
We'll see it.
Where do we
want to?
Where do we want to start with the spoilers?
So this movie has a dance off.
Do you want to talk about that first? Let's just do it. Just get it out.
We're gonna jump around like fuck telling the plot or whatever.
Yeah.
There are some
gloss over it.
There are some unforgettable goddamn scenes in this movie where you're gonna
so many good scenes.
You're gonna come back like, the Nomads said to watch a 3-hour movie from India called Triple R, and I watched it. Holy shit! There is in the halfway point of this movie,
the most epic dance off I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, I haven't laughed. I don't want to be rude because I enjoyed it. Like I fucking loved it. I think those guys can dance like the best.
It was
great. It just came out of nowhere, and I fucking loved it.
The whole time I was just thinking like, how are these guys so good at fucking dancing? Like they can do it all, man.
Well, it's like
holy shit.
He gets invited. Like he's got a crush on the chick. He gets invited to the party. Some
Jenny
douchey British guy trips him and he's like, "Oh, you think you can dance? I can do the Charleston or whatever." And then the best part is like his buddy, was it Rama? Ram.
Yeah, Rama.
He like
Rama,
flips over a
Raju,
plate
they call
and
him.
throws it on the drum. Just
When that happened, I sat right up. I'm like, what is this?
like, oh, now you have my attention. And then it just
Knew some shit was about to go
they
down.
got into like full blown like the choreography going into it, and like the amount of people in those scenes like dancing back and forth. It's just
This is what Indian cinema is all about. Like that scene right there is a lot of what the fans go for.
But
you know, these musical dance numbers and the songs and all that. Like it's a spectacle.
like I don't personally,
It
I don't
is
like
a
musicals. I think musicals are lame and boring and dumb because like nobody fucking sings like that. It's silly. There's a point in the movie later where we'll get to why it's fucking dumb and silly to be singing for things, but like this part, like the ridiculousness and like the fantasticalness of it just like had me like just I was not thinking that at all. I was just like, holy fuck, like what is he gonna dance this guy's legs off? Like what is going to like because you can't anticipate what's gonna happen next because such off the wall crazy shit happens constantly that
I think that's a thing
great.
too that they probably do in India, where they probably do dance. Like men will dance with each other and dance till they can't dance no more. Where in America, you know, we're like everything's. I don't know. Like men don't do that. I'm not dancing with another guy.
And
you know?
Rama was such a good friend to Beam there. He threw the dance so he could impress his lady friend. I'm like,
we'll never
listen,
know who won the dance
listen,
off.
I gotta talk about that. Was my favorite. I think some of my favorite stuff was the beginning where they go through the whole backstory, where this little girl Molly gets captured from Beam's tribe and taken back to the British Parliament, or it's not a parliament at this point, the fucking empire. And they basically kidnap her frivolously. They're like, okay, we're taking you home.
Because she sings nice and decorates her hand nice. They're like,
right.
Fuck it, you're our kid now.
Yeah, if we're just given an overarching story, you got Beam, he's from that tribe, and then you have Rama, who's from a different tribe, but we don't know that in the beginning. He's just this
I was very
officer.
confused. I think this is the weakest part of the film. Is this opening after
The beginning?
Like, after the mom gets
kind
smacked
of all
in the
over
head.
the place.
And I was just like, all right, I thought she was dead, but she's not. At the end, you find out she's alive. I'm like, man, they made it look like she died.
I understand why they did it, like the whole story, fire, water, like they had to introduce these characters in some way.
I thought they were like, I don't want to come off like racist, but like I was confused with the editing. I thought they were the same guy, and I'm like, hold on, it's like this guy's not even look like the same guy.
Well, they have a lot of
throw
the
off.
same facial hair, yeah.
Because you know Rama by his fucking excellent mustache. In this movie. Like, that is.
I had a man crush on that guy.
Oh yeah,
like, dude, you are a cool looking dude.
Well,
but then
let me
he
just
goes
say,
undercover and he goes full beard, and that's what throws you off. Is because I mean, Beam is a little bit of a chunkier. He's like the Samwise Gamgee of India.
But he's still jacked as shit.
Like,
they're all jacked. They're both jacked as shit.
He worked for like 18 months to do that goddamn tiger scene.
The tiger scene. Did he kill the tiger? Did he like knock it out?
He hit the thing in his face and like put it to sleep.
He threw it with some like powder, yeah.
And then they were gonna kill it and eat it, but because he felt bad because he's a tiger too, and it's like his brother. So, and they were just trying to catch the wolf. They didn't want to catch the tiger.
Yeah. Apparently, Ram Charan, who played Rama, is one of the highest paid actors in India.
Oh.
And he's won like a bunch of awards, and he's very well known.
He's a good-looking dude.
I was gonna say he was voted like best dressed and like the Indian equivalent of like sexiest man alive and all
Indian
that stuff.
Brad
Pitt. He's definitely
he's the star here.
Yeah, the other guy not so handsome. Nice guy.
He's like a lovable, like, but guy next door kind of dude.
Yeah. The other guy just like
his face.
Like, you look good in suspenders. Oh, sweet. He looked cool.
Let's do a suspender dancing.
A red suit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude.
But when they worked together, this was the turning point when they worked together to save that boy on the bridge, and then their whole bromance started.
I knew.
I was like,
come
on, I'm in for this ride.
The bridge
as
scene.
Soon as
let's not skim over that.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
What's that?
Like train, like a little kid just like paddling his raft on the river, and then the train explodes and like Rama is up on the bridge and Beam is down on the
shore.
shore.
They do the nod.
They're like, you in, bro? And he's like, I'm fucking in, bro. And he like immediately knows what to do. And there's one's riding a motorcycle, others riding a horse.
They're playing chicken on a bridge, and they got a rope, and they both each go off each side of the bridge.
Like,
oh my God.
And how just how unique of a fucking action scene is that? Like, that's pretty goddamn unique and interesting, because the way that they go together, he you don't really notice it, but he grabs the flag and he scoops it in the water and then he hands it to Beam.
I saw that. That was my favorite part.
What's going on
he's
here?
like, this guy's I'm gonna get the kid, and he's gonna get wrapped up. So I thought that was a really cool move.
That was cool. I didn't know like the purpose of the flag at first, and I'm like, oh
yeah. They did the double toss to each other, and then when they swing back, he goes into the fire, and Beam comes out unscathed because it's the wet flag that saved him. So,
and then they drop down into the water, and they're doing the slow-mo walk towards each other, and they just do the best bro slap underwater, and you're like,
the bro handshake goes on, and then they get into like there was that whole the friendship song where they're like riding on motorcycles together, and they're doing all sorts of like getting up to kooky antics. Like,
no, yeah, the song was awesome, and the whole bromance. This was kind of act one of the movie where the bromance started, and like, I loved it. They were just kind of going around together, and it's cool because they were dancing around like this. I mean, Beam is the one that Rama is looking for the whole time. Like, he was tasked with looking for this warrior from the tribe, and he's
got a poster of him, and he's walking around asking people.
That's what I thought, but it was the poster of the other guy that he met in the church.
Oh, okay,
that's what it is. Because I thought the same thing.
One of his, I thought that too, and then I'm like, oh, it's this picture of his friend. That's why he's looking for him.
I know we're like kind of all over the place gushing about this movie, but there is one scene that I do want to talk about. It's early on. It's in the very beginning, but it's when the dude he's like proving himself to the British Empire.
Yeah, this is a great scene.
Yes,
and it's
when
like,
he's fighting the fucking mob off.
1v200. And like somebody did, I forget what somebody did. Somebody did something, and they said, "That man, somebody go get him."
He threw a rock and knocked a picture off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So Rama's like trying to prove himself, and he sees it because we know that he's got like a
ulterior motive,
kind of. Yeah, where he
but exactly. You don't know. Yeah, you don't know it for a while.
We don't find that out.
You just think this
later.
guy's just dedicated, like he just wants to get ahead or whatever. You don't know, but he proves himself. And I was like, hold on a second. This is shot very well, actually. Like, this is a very cool scene. It's stupid. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just like, this is not really going to happen. How could this happen? This is dumb. Like, why? But then I'm like, hold on. This is really cool, actually. I actually love this. And then there's really good camera work. So one time he finally catches his guy, and all the people start gathering on them.
Yeah, he's in like a dome of bodies.
It gets in this dome of people. Oh, I thought that was such a cool scene.
His way out of there.
I was like, and I was like, man, the camera work, the action in this movie is just so fun. I don't know. It's like an anime came alive or something like that.
Well,
I don't know.
Especially with all like the slow-mo shots, they really emphasize all the action. You know, I
didn't really care for the cuts. Slow-mo. I thought it was dated slow-mo.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it.
It's like a stuttered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do the thing, where it's like fast and then it slows down for like the punch, and then they speed it up again as soon as he punches him. I didn't mind it. I feel like I got used to it since they used it so much throughout the entire movie and through all the action scenes.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, that's the point. You knew right away that Rama was a badass. He just literally fought off this entire mob of rebels. It was insane.
I guess that's all Act 1 stuff.
Yeah.
Beginning like Act 2, I guess technically, is when, I don't know, Rama finds out that Beam is the dude he's looking for. And
I was trying to think about how
Beam finds out that Molly is at the governor's
palace,
whatever.
Yeah.
So Beam he plans like a breakout scene with like, I don't know how he doesn't have any fucking else to help him. Like, if the whole country is pissed, Like this would have been a good time to like get everybody together and let's go fuck up these British people. But they do they do the charge in because they know that the two gates, only one gate opens at a time. So when the second gate opens, they smash through the first gate, they pull the e-brake on, and Beam comes jumping out with like lions and tigers and
they
bears.
Release the beasts.
Oh my! Which I mean, those animals probably all got murdered and killed, but whatever. Like,
listen, they were CG. There was no animals harmed in the making of this movie.
But this is like the Beam Rama.
It's the big reveal.
Like, how could you break?
Well, I like that Rama
heart.
couldn't kill. I like that Rama couldn't kill Beam, and then later on, Beam can't kill Rama.
Does the same thing, yeah.
And like, this movie
strong.
does like, yeah, it has like don't waste a bullet on this person. Like it traveled all this distance just to be shot and wasted on this like person. So like how like they ended the movie with like the bad guy being killed that way, and they have the reload, aim, shoot, or whatever it is. But like I like that they have these like repeating things. There's like a few themes, a few motifs that they use through this movie, and it's just very clever.
Yeah. I agree. No, there's a couple different ones that go through it. Like some of the, I don't know, that feels like they could have cut out like a half hour ish of this movie.
Easily in the first act, really. I mean, dude, let's be real. When the bros are broing it up, and they're like bromancing and like with each other so much, like okay, this could have been half as long.
There's
a lot of scenes where like things could have been half as long.
It built up the how close that they actually got. Like I don't know how.
No, I know it's adorable.
Time, I don't know how long this time span was, but like I mean, you could tell that they were like they were bros. They were best friends,
dude.
Yeah,
months.
So this was like months of hanging out together,
like
just inseparable. So yeah, I didn't mind that stuff. It was all fun, but yeah, it could have been shorter. Some of the stuff in the beginning, the backstory stuff, could have shortened up.
Just got used to it from what we're used to watching, but like the other, like after the whipping and all that stuff, this movie then it just becomes straight up action. I think.
Oh yeah,
like it's straight up nonstop because you get a really epic flashback of Raja's like village getting attacked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Rama's village being attacked. And his mom and his brother get killed, and then his dad's getting like blown apart and all that stuff. And he's like proving how like he's really good at shooting and stuff like that. He's like taking all these guys, like this is really cool. And then you see more of that story where like he has to blow up his own father. He's got like bombs on his back. He's like, just shoot me, and then they'll blow up. And I was just like, man, this movie can get really heavy out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
But like the actions, like a lot of my notes are really on the actions. Just like, damn, that's really epic how that happened, or like, wow, how that happened. But like, they must have had so much fun coming up with these things from the hanging that was going to happen, where he gets let go, and then Rami gets taken, and then he's like in a prison, and he's like doing pull-ups in a cell. And they're like, this guy's gonna die. We're gonna kill this guy. Like, and he's doing like, why are you working out? You're caught. It's over. And then he's just like keeps doing pull-ups, and then they beat the hell out of him, and then they put him in solitary confinement, which is basically a hole in the ground with a grate above you, and he just grabs them with broken legs or whatever, and he starts healing himself. And by the way, he has died almost twice or whatever, but all it takes is like some Resident Evil. Just get a couple like plants, put them together, and then you can just heal somebody.
Yep, Beam's a healer, man. He knows his shit.
Yeah, there are
but
some
like
miraculous.
When he got bit by the snake, his friend there, Lachu was his name. He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna die within the day. Like you only have a day left.
That was
live.
A pretty badass scene though, when he like. He taps on the ground and he catches the snake as it's about to strike him, and then he just like flings it,
throws it behind his back.
I'm like, wow, that
that
was some like I think like the storyboards, like you're saying, Brandon, like being fun to make, like just making the storyboards for this movie, just like fucking let your imagination run as far as you can.
There was a part.
Oh my god.
There was a part in the party scene where Beam lets all the animals loose and attacks the palace, where Rama takes a torch and like jumps and he punches a tiger with the torch, flaming torch in his hand. I'm like, I've never seen anything like that in a movie. He just fire punched a fucking tiger. Like there are so many cool action scenes,
dude.
Where I'm like, how did they come up with that?
When they escape the prison and he's got to carry him on his shoulders.
That is my favorite scene.
So the one's running and the other one can just use his arms, and he's like reloading my gun.
It just reminded me of like the two kids in a trench coat type thing. Like you're on
a little bit.
You're the legs, and then I'm on top.
Like
got dual rifles shooting all the officers.
The shit in the choreography in that scene was just the fucking absolute best. Like I was out loud, just like yelling at the TV during that escape scene.
I was too. I was like, that was fucking dope.
Like shooting people behind his back, and like off to like just crazy. It was definitely like straight out of the Matrix there.
Like, how often do you talk to the movie you're watching? And I was like talking to this movie, like, oh my god, are we doing this? We're doing this. Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. And then like, dude, at the end of the movie when it finally ends, I was like, you goddamn right, we're gonna do a song.
Oh,
Come
on.
That was awesome.
You
though.
know,
it's gotta end on the song.
I mean, we're jumping everywhere now. We're just literally leaping, frogging back and forth. But the end scene was awesome because it's based in history a little bit, like, you know, loosely based in history. But then that whole end, like, dance choreography scene, they're like singing about India, and they're showing off like all the political leaders that, you know, throughout history have been a big thing in India.
Yeah, it was supposed to be very like patriotic.
Well, we obviously don't know any of those people, but
no.
I mean,
I think it flat for me a little bit, but I enjoyed it. Like I liked watching them
appreciated it just because I mean I knew the meaning behind it, but you know it didn't mean much to me. But I appreciated the meaning behind the song and everything. But yeah, man, there's some. I just want to talk about more of these scenes, especially when Ram and Beam basically turn into superheroes at the end, and they're picking up motorcycles, swinging them around. And then Ram comes out looking like Rambo with the bow and arrow.
When Beam is drinking the water, that was a fantastic shot.
Oh my god!
I'm like, oh, dude, is Beam gonna get fucking taken out?
It's completely surrounded by,
because like I know in real life these guys don't let. Yeah, so then and then he's drinking water, and then an arrow goes through it and takes out the guy in the eye, and then all of a sudden, nonstop. Pure action, and I'm like, this is what Tomb Raider the movie should have been, because this guy is like doing what, you know, like he did this one cool move where he shot an arrow into the tree, and the guy like, oh, I almost died, and it almost got him in the eye, so he starts reloading his gun, and then Ramen just comes around and just like kicks the arrow further, tree, and he goes into the guy's head.
Oh my god! Yeah.
But then as he kicks off the tree, he springboards backwards and then shoots an arrow at somebody in the other direction. It's just like, fucking insane.
So many people catch guns in the air in this movie. Just like that's the thing. You can just like in slow mo catch a gun. Everybody has like Catwoman reflexes.
Even the governor there, the English governor, when Ram had the whole plot of when they're on the way to Beam's execution, and he pulled the tree out trying to crush the Governor Scott's car there. He flipped the car. The governor grabbed his sniper out of the air, shot the car, and the car did like 10 flips. And like
Ram went into the back of a tree and got impaled.
I thought he was going to die.
And then,
he's dead.
I mean, we're saying like miraculous recoveries, and then next thing we know, he's in solitary with broken legs, and then Beam put some green herbs on it, and then gave him some bandanas. He comes out shirtless, fucking like killing
superpowers.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
He gets stronger with every weakness that comes to both of them. Mm-hmm. Both of these guys get stronger the more pain that happens to them. But it's whatever. I love it.
I will say, I know we talked about a little bit the whipping scene. I don't know. I know, Dave, you were talking about the song a little bit during there. But it did hit some emotional beats just because of how Ram had to betray his friend when clearly he didn't want to. But if he didn't, they both would have been killed anyway.
The message was
kind
really
of forced
good there.
To whip him. Yeah.
But what he did is because his whole purpose was arm the people, arm the people. And then he meets Beam, and Beam is saying like, you can arm the people with just the will, like just showing them that you will not kneel. You can just do more without guns. There's more to being like an Indian than just an Indian with a gun. Like, and he showed that, and that's when he's just like, I will give up the last 15 years of my life to follow this guy and make sure that his message gets through, because he represents India more than us with guns. Like, guns are gonna help, but he thought that the people, because like, it was a really cool scene, because the people were literally throwing themselves like zombies. They're just using their bodies to make a bridge. Like, one guy literally jumped onto the fence with all these sharp blades so other people can run up over him to get to the British army and start taking out the willpower.
Yeah, it's the resolve.
And he's just like, if you can get people to use their bodies, that's more than what you can do with people with guns. Like, that's why he said, I have to get this guy out of here. And he comes up with that plan to, like, you know, get him to be rescued and stuff like that. But that like, you think that scene's going to go one way, but it's actually pretty deep. It's good cinema.
Like, I was expecting even with the song breakout there. Like,
I thought, he's going to switch. He's going to like use the whip to like grab a gun and they're going to like shoot their way out, you know?
I think it was more powerful that it didn't happen there.
Yeah, he go in hiding and shit after that. You know, he's just
right,
because like, well, he escapes the hanging, but he just goes in hiding, and like the movie hits a low, and like we're hunting this guy down. This guy's caught. So this movie's just like, they're epic.
Well, that's when we get Beam gets to know Rama's backstory. Like, so he has no idea. He just thinks Rama's just a dick. He just thinks he's a fucking traitor and a scumbag that turned his back on his country, and then he finds out that he's got this whole other plan.
I thought it was convenient that Sita, Ram's fiance,
the whole fucking movie's convenient, dude.
but
the whole movie's convenient. The fact that you can look at one guy down by the water and be like, yo, you want to save this kid from a burning train? Yeah. All right. Hope you're really good at everything I'm about to do.
Oh, that's so good.
No, I love that. I love that he got the backstory. And then, you know, he kind of had to turn the tables. Like, he's the one who has to go save Ram now, after he saved him from being hanged. So even though at that point they were enemies, like, unknowingly.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like you said, there's tons of up and downs in this movie, like betrayals. Like, they start out as best friends, and then it turns to betrayal, and then they team up at, like, the superhero team up at the end.
They both almost die. They both get captured at different points. They both get rescued at different points. It's like they both have, like you're saying, this up and down where, like, it's yin and yang, where one's...
It's like two people's movies, but they're sharing the movie.
Right.
It's like, you're the star, but I'm the star. So, like,
they're constantly trying to meet in the middle. Like, they were together in the beginning, and then they got offset throughout the entire movie, and then they come together at the end for that, for that team up. Yep.
Let's just take...
So what do you guys...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so what do you guys think about the villains?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thought enough about the good guys. I was saying, they're awesome, like, they can dance.
Inglourious Bastards were like, Nazis are pretty much like clear bad guys. They're brutal. They're fucking... They have no care for, you know, the Jewish culture, Jewish lives, or anything like that. The British are pretty much the Nazis of this movie.
I mean, the governor and his wife were that, definitely. Yeah. The only good quote unquote English person was Jenny,
right?
Beam's sweetheart there.
Who was she? Like, was she the daughter of them?
I think she was like, the daughter, or the I don't know if they ever explained that. Yeah,
she's just like there.
I know she was living in the palace, but I don't know what her relation was to them.
Just
right, lady. Yeah, she would. She's just like had that party with like, and I was just like, but you're not hanging out with like the governor and the Duchess or whatever she is.
Yeah,
like, I thought hanging out with them.
I thought Jenny was probably one of the weakest characters in the movie. Like, she didn't
not much
really
love interest.
Kinda,
you know, she was meant as a love interest.
But back to the bad guys though, like. Ray Stevenson is like the governor, and then he's got his wife. But like you see in the beginning when they take the kid, like they kind of don't give a shit about the Indian people. And he doesn't have like a ton of like action or scenes in there. But I thought he was a great bad guy, where like his evilness and callousness trickle down through everybody else. Where he's like who gives a shit about these people? And like he's just an asshole.
So here's the thing. So this makes me think. This makes my brain go in another direction probably than it should. But I'm like, okay, you know how like I've watched decades of white American people fighting like different cultured people that are attacking like whatever from like whatever country, and like they're attacking America or we have to fight them. So they act a certain way, right? Like, hey, if you're Asian, have an Asian accent. If you're from like Kuwait, you have a Kuwait, whatever. It's just like make sure that you have the accent, and is it stereotypical? Because when I was watching these two specifically, the two Scott characters, the Scots, the governor and his wife,
Buxton.
I felt they were very stiff and dramatic, and it was like it was like bad acting, but it was like I liked it because it was over the top. But it's like, do we do this to people? So it's like, all right, you're from Iraq and you're a terrorist, so you're gonna act like
they
this.
demonize them
because Hollywood expects this out of you. Is India doing the same thing where it's like you're a white actor playing like a British like governor?
I feel like every culture does that.
Evil.
It's with the other side. They demonize the enemy, which at this point the English were the enemy at this time.
Outside of your realm, I guess, but yeah, because I wrote this down. I wrote during the whipping, the white woman says, "There's hardly any blood. Hit him harder." And I'm like, that is so rough. The performance, the delivery, the line, everything about that was just not good. And I'm like, I know what they're trying to do, but it just, because it's like second language, it's not like their primary language, so it's not, it just seemed very weak.
I was just hoping someone would shoot her the entire movie. She was just, like you said, she was annoying.
Pretty
bad performance.
She just happens to
bad
have
acting,
like
everything.
Some goddamn Simon Belmont Castlevania whip just hanging out with her. She brings it.
Well, I wrote that down as well. Why does she have this fucking spiked whip just handy, ready to go? Unless, I mean, she probably knew that she had this plan the entire time. Like, she knew she was going to a whipping, so she's like, I'm going to bring this one just in case you need it,
Yeah, my personal whip. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, this is in my secret stash.
I just think that, like, I get it. Like, listen, I am not going to defend. I'm not that I have to, but the historical events that had happened in India, like, it's a shame that stuff happened, and I'm sure there were really bad people doing this stuff. But their acting was like comic booky.
I think it's on purpose. Like I said,
is it on purpose?
Over exaggeration? I mean, I'm sure it's not an exaggeration, but
it's the same with any movie you see with the Nazi, like anything like that.
They're just evil for the sake of being evil.
Like, exactly.
Just kill him. I want my blood.
Kill him.
Right. Do this.
They have to make them extra evil and demonized for them to get a good payoff at the end when you see him die.
The governor sucks at his job. Because if he wants people to be... He had these fucking guys caught twice. Both of them got caught twice. And they still survived. And 2 guys were able to take out 100 of your soldiers, including the special forces. Like,
with a bow and arrow.
What is going on here? With a bow and arrow.
These were not normal men.
But I loved it. Oh, it was so fun.
It's
so
the best
cool.
way.
Like,
it's like I kept saying it's like a trip. Like it's like I don't know. It's like hard to. It's like an experience or something. Like it's just a fun ride.
If it was American, I think it'd be horrible. I think it would be like a B movie. But because it comes from India, it's purposeful. There's like a format that they have. Just like how we have, like you were saying, like they had the credits in the beginning where we're like, we don't have time for credits. Let's get to the opening of this movie, And
so there's, it's not all just dumb action. Like there is some heart in there too, like with the friendship.
And Molly,
between
some of the
two
Molly
guys.
stuff, I felt so bad for that little girl.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's just a little girl that got taken from her tribe for no good reason.
When she wants to leave, she's like, "Don't you just gonna leave me here?" He's like, "I will come back," but she's like, "Please don't leave me." I'm like, that sucks.
Like that was,
that shit happened. That's sad.
Yep,
it's very sad.
And then,
sorry, I was gonna say we're probably getting close to wrapping it up here. Let's give our final. Anything else we want to bring up before we wrap it up?
I don't know. I want to say thanks for finding this movie,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it was so random. Like, you took a little joke that we had of like, hey, let's watch a Bollywood movie, and you saw that, and you like threw it in front of us.
Well, I saw this movie was
so
getting like some
refreshing.
praise. It was getting some praise on Twitter, and I saw some rumblings of it from a couple other people that I know on some Discord. So I was like, hey, why not? I'll just watch this trailer. We were talking about checking out some Bollywood Indian films. So I checked out the trailer, and I'm like, holy shit, you guys got to see this.
Just from the fucking trailer. Like, that's all you need to...
This guy punched a punching bag so hard it didn't move. It just explodes.
Yeah.
But just the mere contact with it just explodes this punching bag.
This is good.
In super slow mo.
You just gotta know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Don't, like, it's tough to like categorize because it's so many things in one.
Right.
It's an experience. Like, you gotta be there.
I think that, yeah. I think even if, you're not, I don't know, you're a little cautious about Indian cinema, there's something for everybody in this movie. Like, just give it a shot. I know it was a daunting 3 hours, but for me, it felt like it flew by. Like, I definitely was not bored during any
No,
point in
how
this
can you be
movie.
bored with this movie? Yeah, it's bonkers.
There was a lull.
To a Westerner, it's bonkers.
A little lull, but
Yeah.
I had 5 minutes
I'm
later,
sure it
there
could
was
have used
probably somebody punching a tiger in the face with a torch again. So.
Right. I'm sure it could have been trimmed down a little bit, but like the 3-hour runtime, I thought, for the most part, it flew by. And it's just a fun watch, man. There's entertainment around every corner in every scene. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to say about it.
Yeah, I can't.
I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, it's just a good change of pace. Good to see what other people are making. Good to see influences of Western film on other films. Good to see what other countries are putting out. So it was definitely an entertaining run.
Yep. Glad we checked it out. With that, we will
Cue
wrap
epic
up.
transition music about
Exactly.
now.
There was we didn't really talk about
We
the
got
music,
some-
but there's so many epic numbers in this movie.
There are some jams, but
Definitely some jams. But yeah, we'll wrap up our talk about RRR here and get into our game right after this.
Vande Mataram.
And we are back with a game. We're going back to the old Jeopardy well here. We've done this once before with Star Wars. This time we're doing video game categories for Jeopardy.
I will not lose.
We have our contestants here. Brandon, where are you from, Brandon?
I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Dave, where are you from? Got Dave here.
I'm from Origins Unknown.
Okay, Origins Unknown.
Just
Let me
like
read the categories. These are all video game
You gotta do
categories.
You could do the sound for it though.
Oh yeah, let's populate the board here.
Populate the board, yes, please.
We have video games 2020, video games 2018, classic video games, literary video games, and indie video games.
Ooh.
Brandon, you have control of the board. Where are you going?
Let's go video games 2020 for 200.
This Chargers Keenan Allen did not like his attributes in this coach's NFL 20. My strength is 69, like I'm a little boy.
Keenan Allen is great.
I believe this is a football question, Brandon.
Don't give him that. This game is rigged.
5 seconds on the clock.
What is Madden?
Hey,
That is correct.
Yeah.
Brandon has 200.
It's like a big thing in August when like all the player rankings come out and people just like flip out.
Look
about
at their
all that
stats.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, Brandon, where are you going?
Let's go video games 2018 for 200.
The newest installment in the Legend of Zelda series.
Breath of the Wild. What is Breath of the Wild?
What is Breath of the Wild is correct.
Can I challenge coach's challenge? I'm throwing a red flag. What about the Warriors game, Dynasty Warriors Zelda game? Did
that doesn't count.
That's a Zelda game.
It also I'm not sure when this was made.
2018.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm also not sure when this was made because the Link's Awakening remake did come out after Breath of the Wild.
But the category says video games 2018.
Yeah, but that's just games that came out in 2018.
Touche.
You know, so it's the newest one, and
in 2018
newest one came out in 2018
as of 2018.
No, because it's 2020. There's 2020 here too.
Why is that a category?
Because it's video games that came out in 2018.
Yeah, I was just being a prick.
Yeah, all right. I get
you
what
can
you're
have
saying.
your silly 200 points.
All right. Well, classic games for 200.
Oh god,
A lot of work for
taking all the cherry.
Here we go.
Hopefully 600 points.
Try explaining to your kids how this 1972 four-letter game from Atari was the coolest thing ever for a while.
Ooh.
1972 four-letter game from Atari.
I don't know. Pass.
Oh, all right.
Hold on. Is it Pong? What is Pong?
Oh.
This is just a guess. I'm not going to get these points.
That is correct.
Oh, David.
It was Pong.
Move. Enjoy
All
that
right,
200
Dave.
points.
Dave, I'm going to go to classic video games for 400.
Oh, I gotta subtract your 200. Classic video games for 400. Introduced in 1982, this sequel had as big an appetite as her male predecessor.
What is Mrs. Pac-Man?
I'm
Who
sorry,
is
Dave.
Mrs. Pac-Man? Oh.
Well, it's actually Miss Pac-Man.
Technically.
Let's check with the judges here. Okay, we'll give it to you.
Oh, bullshit. Imagine if you could do that in Jeopardy. Bullshit. Yeah, the contestant yelling at me, motherfucker, you got that wrong.
Dave retains control of the board. Where are you going now?
Classic for 6.
He was a bouncing orange critter with a big nose and an asterisk in his name.
Who is Q-Bert?
Q-Bert is correct.
Yes.
Dave has 1,000. Brandon has
my
200.
classic video games. We'll keep going for 8.
All right. In the game Joust, contestants were placed upon these birds.
What are ostriches?
Ostriches is correct.
Hey. Keep
Keep
it coming.
Dave sweeping the classic.
Let's take
video
classic
games
for
category.
1,000.
You had left, middle, and right fire buttons in this game. Also, the name of a U.S. Army unit known as MECOM.
Ooh. Left, middle, and right fire buttons. It's that cowboy game. What is Gunsmoke?
That is incorrect.
Missile
Command.
Oh yeah.
I did cross my mind, but I wouldn't have guessed that either, Dave.
Oh.
MECOM. That should have gotten me there.
Missile Command. Yep, I didn't even think of that. All right, Brandon. You have 200. Dave has 800. You control the board.
I guess video games. Video games 2020 for 400.
A game that was announced back in 2013 and after numerous delays was forced to officially release in 2020.
forced to a release in 2020.
Yeah, what's up with that? A game that was announced back in 2013 and after delays?
I
guess.
I got a guess here.
I think I have a guess. Maybe.
2020.
My guess is wrong, though.
I guess, what is Anthem?
Anthem. I don't believe that is correct.
Is it Duke Nukem?
Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow, I didn't know it had that many delays. I thought it had like a couple.
I didn't know it was in. Yeah, if it was going.
Yeah, or that long. 2013. Damn.
For that many years.
Dave, control goes back to you.
I'll go indie games. 200.
A role-playing game where you inherit your grandfather's farm and begin your new life in this little town.
Which is Stardew Valley.
That is correct.
Always check for Grandpa's Shrine. Indie 400.
400. The early 20th century would have loved the art style of this game.
Oh. Early 20th century.
Yeah, you could read that a few ways.
I don't know.
I don't think I have a guess for this one. Oh, Cuphead. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
I thought
okay.
that was like
all right.
1940s and 50s. I don't think that's early.
I mean,
30s?
It's mid. Yeah, 30s.
Sure.
Yeah.
All
right, Brandon. Controls back to you.
Video games 2020 for 600.
Battle Royale and Plunder are game modes in this series Warzone.
What is Call of Duty?
Call of Duty is correct. Ooh, close game. Brandon with 400. Dave with 600.
Video games 2018 600.
It's all over the place.
Make your future fighting Gaul leader of the Red Legion in the second iteration of this Bungie game.
What is Halo Wars 2?
Ooh.
But Destiny 2.
Oh!
Second iteration.
Destiny 2, yeah.
I would have said Destiny 2 there, technically, but...
That's, yeah. Dave, back to you.
We'll jump back to indie games for 600.
A roguelike hack and slash game where you play Zagreus to try and escape the underworld.
Which is Hades.
Hades is correct.
Indie video games 800, please.
A 2D action adventure game where you play as a masked hero with his trusty nail to help you explore the twisted caverns to discover lost secrets.
Where you play as a masked hero with a trusty nail. Explore the twisted caverns. I want to say Spelunky, but that's not wearing a mask. I don't know. I'll say Spelunky. What is Spelunky?
Brandon, do you know this one?
With his trusty nail to help you explore.
Why does he have a nail?
It's Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
You gotta take points away.
Mind, but...
Oh, take points. Oh, yeah, I added them. Okay, there we go.
See, I haven't played Hollow Knight. I heard that's a fucking great game, too.
Video games 2018 for 400.
Morrowind and Skyrim are iterations of this venerable set of games.
What is the Elder Scrolls?
What is the Elder Scrolls is correct. Brandon out of the red. Close game.
Indie video games for 1,000.
How dare you?
This is the indie developer that created Undertale in 2015 and Deltarune in 2018.
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't know. Shit.
Do you have any guess?
No, I have no guess.
I believe this is Toby Fox.
Ooh,
I would never have
nice.
gotten that, dude. That's
Nice, Eric.
Yeah, I would not have known that. Oh, that's
for stealing my category. Video games 2020 for 800.
You sure you don't want literary video games?
We'll get there.
For 800, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Slaughtering demons in outer space was the goal when this fateful first-person shooter came out in 1993. By 2020, it was eternal.
What is Doom?
Oh my god.
Doom is correct.
All caps. You gotta
Doom.
2020 video games for 1,000.
In 2020, it was time to find some new horizons and build your own island paradise with this Nintendo game.
What is fucking Crook Tom Nook Animal Crossing?
That is correct.
Yay. He is
Give up to 2,200.
Let's start literary video games for 200. We'll keep it easy. Oh God.
Alumat. I don't know how to say that. A 1938 novel by Vladimir Bartol about fanatical killers inspired the hit video game This Creed.
We'll try Assassin's Creed. What is Assassin's Creed?
Oh my god.
That is correct.
Yeah, he had me at the beginning.
I've never heard of that. Yep.
We'll go literary for 400.
Based on Hamlet, Elsinore has you play as this character. Perhaps you might not drown. Based on Hamlet.
I don't know this one. What is... I don't know.
I don't think I know this one.
Ophelia.
Who is Ophelia? Is this a game?
I guess.
Sure.
Okay, never heard of it. Brandon, back to you. You gotta make a big comeback here.
Oh, well, I guess I'll go for Video Games 2018 for 1,000.
This company's Infinity allowed you to play characters from The Incredibles and Cars, to name a few.
This company's Infinity. Who is Disney?
Disney is correct. That was the $1,000 question.
Disney Infinity.
Yep,
it's a
Disney
cool
Infinity.
concept.
All right, you're out of the red at 200, Brandon.
All right. Literary games for 600.
In the mobile game based on this 1873 novel, you can end up with a different itinerary that the Jules Verne created. I'm assuming than the Jules Verne created.
Mobile game?
Huh. This category sucks.
Yeah, dude, it's a wild card. I was thinking he's going to give me something classy, but no, I don't know.
Okay. It was Around the World in 80. Yeah.
Oh, you know that game?
I knew that one. No, just the Jules Verne novel.
Oh, okay.
Damn, back in the
day. All right, Dave. Well, you got this locked up.
I'll go video
your victory
or
lap.
literary 800.
Get it, run.
With flowing white hair, Geralt of Rivia is a monster slayer in the video game series based on the stories of Andrzej Sapkowski. I don't know how to say his first name.
Grand old Polish name. What is The Witcher?
Okay. Yeah, come on.
The
How is
Witcher.
that 800?
It's an audio or it's a literary game.
Nobody knew that mobile game that was 600 points.
I got
out of
that
here.
one. We'll go literary 1,000. Let's clean this up.
Andrew Ryan, the industrious villain in BioShock, was inspired by this female author with the same initials.
Inspired by the female author with the same initials.
I do know this one.
Who is...
From our BioShock episode.
Audrey Renault.
Incorrect.
I just made that up.
That's Ayn Rand.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that.
Oh, that woman was nutso. She was great. I liked her old interviews.
All right, Brandon. This is for
nothing.
Just the last question, just for,
I want to get out of the negative
glory
here. All right.
Yeah.
You don't get
video games 2018.
They turn off the light
800.
on you in Final Jeopardy if you don't have positive points. Sit in the dark.
A big story of 2018 is Fortnite, this genre of game where the winner is the last shooter or last team standing.
What is Battle Royale?
Congratulations, you're out of the red. All right, and that's our game. Final score, Brandon 400, David 1,800.
Yes!
David is the winner.
Oof.
I'm the grandest champion.
Too
I'm
bad.
not good at Jeopardy.
Too bad there's no Final Jeopardy.
That would have been excellent. That was fun, though. Thanks, Eric.
That was fun. That's always a fun one we can go back to. There's like so many different categories that we can do. But yeah, that about wraps it up for this episode. That was a fun one. I'm glad we watched RRR. That movie I'll definitely remember that one for a long time.
Absolutely.
With that, we'll wrap it up. You can follow us, get our social media out there at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can visit the nomadsoffantasy.com for all your nomad needs. And we're out of here. Safe travels, Nomads.
Peace out.